Hello, in this short film I'm just going to show you some really easy core exercises to do. Now, working your core is different to working your abdominals, and there's often a confusion between the two. Your core is the smaller muscles deeper inside which give you this ability to hold a posture and to move within that posture. Your abdominals are the big muscles on the outside, the ones that make your belly look tight like a six-pack, that sort of thing. Now, very often they are confused. If you work for just your abdominals, your core is probably going to turn off because these are much more subtle muscles. They're much deeper, and the bigger muscles on the outside are going to take over. So it's important to know that difference. The sort of muscles that the sort of exercises that you'd be doing for your abdominal muscles are things like a full sit-up, a really strong plank, and anything that perhaps when you're taking both legs off the ground at the same time. We're not looking at that sort of thing with the core at all. We really want to do these exercises slowly and really engage so that you can feel those deep muscles working together. And when you're thinking about them, think about them like a tube. They wrap around over the front of your organs and then right the way round to the spine. So at the front, we're thinking about the internal obliques, the transverse abdominals, and round the back, we're thinking about multifidus and the erector spinae, and to some extent the glutes, and a little bit also coming into latissimus dorsi. So these are subtle exercises. You need to do them slowly. Sometimes less is more. Really don't get into this fast momentum that you often do when you're working the big abdominals, because the core will just shut down. They're very important for the posture. They're very important for keeping your spine and your joints all nicely in alignment. And they'll be really useful if you're doing a lot of sitting at work and you're needing to maintain a posture, or if you're carrying heavy things. They generally keep you fitter and healthier if your core is working well. Okay, so I'm going to look at 4 really simple exercises, and we're going to go from the easiest first through to the hardest. So let's just start in lying. So if you have a lie down on your back, get yourself somewhere nice and comfortable on a rug or a mat. Make sure your head is well supported, because you need to be nice and relaxed. Have your knees bent up so your feet are flat on the floor. And first of all, I just want you to focus on finding your core. So you're just going to rock away a little bit with your pelvis. This is starting with a pelvic tilt, and then you're going to press it back, rock it back into the floor, into the ground, and then rocking away again. So you're just tilting your pelvis forwards and then backwards again. Just nice and slowly, just to find how your pelvis is moving. Now, as you rock back and you're pulling in hard, you should feel like you're pulling from the pubis symphysis down here all the way up to the bottom of your ribs, and those are your core muscles that are working. So just pulling in hard, your pelvis is tilting right back, your back is pressing into the floor, and you can feel, if you press a little bit on your belly, that there is a tightness on the inside, and that's your inner tube. Bit like the inside of a loo roll, that cardboard tube. That's your core muscles working. So having found that, we're going to come from there into a really simple sit-up. So you're just going to rock back, feel that really tightening up. You can pull up on the pelvic floor as well if you want to. Pulling right up, feel that on the inside nice and tight, and just roll up and lift your head and shoulders forward, and just hold. Keep your shoulders relaxed and open, fingers relaxed, your toes relaxed, and then slowly uncurl. The slower you do this, the harder the muscles are going to work. Release it off completely, and then roll the pelvis back up. Feel your tailbone coming up a little bit. Feel your glutes starting to work, and then roll up into that simple sit-up, and feel this outside is staying relaxed, but the core is working hard. If we go any further into a full sit-up, you'll start to work your big abdominals, and the core will stop working, and also the hip flexors will come in. You can feel here your glutes are working, and that inner tube is working. And come back down. Release it off and start again. Rock back. Now you might want to start with 5 of these. If it's easy, you might want to do 10. And then releasing down really slowly so you can feel right through the muscle. right through the movement. Every bit of that muscle is working. Hold it for about the count of 5 and then rolling down. And we'll just come into one more, so we've done 5. But if this is easy, you can keep working at them. Lift up, nice and relaxed, and slowly back down again. Good, and then relax. So the next exercise that we're going to come into, exactly the same position, we're going to take this into a bridge. So you're going to start with the same thing, rolling right up. Feel your tailbone coming up even more this time, really crunching up with your belly here. So you could feel that tightness from the pubic symphysis down here, right up to your ribs. And then you're going to continue coming up this time. Glutes are working quite hard in here, and each vertebrae is coming up one after the other. Keep your head nicely relaxed, your shoulders relaxed, your feet relaxed, your fingers relaxed, and come right up so that you have a nice smooth line up your body, not too high. Now this is where you might want to stop if your core isn't too strong. You're just going to hold that. Can you see, nice and steady, pelvis staying in one line, fingers relaxed, toes relaxed, glutes are working quite hard, and you've got this nice smooth line. Holding it there, pulling in, feeling that core really working, and then the same on the way down, unfurling, uncurling, one at a time. Those vertebrae are coming down onto the floor. Nice and slowly. If you do it slowly, the muscles work harder and you feel them more. Relax right out. And this time we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to make it a little bit harder. So rolling up one vertebra at a time, coming up off the ground. Slowly, slowly, tucking that pelvis right in, keeping it nice and steady. Holding it there. Nice straight line again. And then you're just going to take one leg off, and it's on the horizontal. Don't let your pelvis tilt one way or the other. Keep that leg not up here, but it's got to be flat, so you have this nice flat line. And you're just going to hold that nice and steady. Really works the core. You feel glutes working, you feel your core working. Focus on those two areas, deep in your belly and on your backside. Come down again. Nice and slowly uncurl down. Let it go. Have a breather for a moment. And exactly the same, rolling up, tipping that pelvis back, nice and steady, really pulling in hard. Feel the glutes working, and the same thing and on the other side. Don't let the pelvis swing, hold it nice and steady. And coming back down again, really slowly. And you can hold that, or you can do more repetitions depending on how many you feel you're able to do. But it's always that same thing, rolling the pelvis back, feeling that tightening, nice and steady, holding it up, leg off. Bring the leg slowly back down, unwind, going through that whole movement. Exactly the same for the other side. Rolling up, steady, steady, really feel it working. Get yourself steady before you take the leg off and the leg comes off at the horizontal. Don't let that pelvis drop to the side. And coming back down, slowly, slowly, slowly. And relax. Just tilt your pelvis backwards and forwards just to release it off, and if you relax for a moment you should feel that you've done a bit of work in here. So the next two exercises that we're going to do are on your front. So you're going to turn over onto your front, get yourself nice and comfortable. First one we're going to do is coming up into hands and knees. So hands and knees, nice and steady. Making sure you have a nice square here. This is the one that you might do in yoga where you're doing like a Superman. So you're going to keep your head there this time in midline, and you're taking one arm off on one side and the opposite leg on the other side, and you're holding steady there, keeping the pelvis nice and stable, pulling your belly in, feeling that core working from the inside. And you're going to hold that nice and steady. Works your glutes again. Works your shoulder muscles. So really functional exercise this. Coming down with the hand and down with the leg. And exactly the same on the other side, holding it nice and steady. You may well find that one side is easier to do than the other. And again, keep pulling in with the core, feel that working, nice and stable. And then you're going to come back down again. And again, you could do repetitions of that, or you can do hold it for longer. Just loosening off the pelvis, always nice to do that. Once you've done an exercise. And now we're going to come down into a modified plank. So you're going to come onto your forearms. You're going to stretch out nice and long. So your hands are nice and relaxed. And you're going to get your belly nice and even so that you're not flopping down, but you're just staying on your knees. Your feet are off the ground a little bit, your back is flat, your belly is pulling up a little bit. And again, this is working into your glutes, into your quads, but it's also working into your core muscles. Make sure that your elbows are underneath your shoulders, and you can hold that for as long as you like. Keep your toes relaxed, keep your fingers relaxed. And you're just holding nice and flat. And the longer you hold it, the more work you'll do, but just working slowly into that. A little bit every day, and that makes the difference. And again, just coming back out of that. Always like to finish with a bit of pelvic tilting, just to release your back off. This is a combination that you could do a little bit every day, as I say, or just pick one or two of them. Perhaps just use the plank along with the bridging, or maybe the sit-ups along with the Superman. You don't have to do all of them. Pick the ones that you think are working for you, which you can really focus on, and you can get a feel of your core. But as I say, exercise is done slowly, really focus, makes things work harder, gives you a better idea, so you can use it when you're standing as well with your posture. You can feel what your core actually is, allows you to connect with your core, and also make it stronger. And a little bit each day is the best way to do things.